journey we're taking here. Now, before I plunge into the future and where we're heading, I think it's very important to ground us in the history of the company. Now, as many of you know, this gentleman behind me is August Horch. He is, in essence, the founder of the Audi brand. Now, in 1909, as many of you know, Horch bravely left the first company he started after the board of directors decided they could increase their profits by compromising the quality of their automobiles. Now, obviously, there was a lot of bitter court battles, but they actually stopped him from naming this new company after himself. They literally stopped him from using his own name. He couldn't call this new company Horch, or actually anything that rhymed with it. So August Horch needed a new name, and he found it by doing the one thing I need each and every one of you to do today. He listened. Now, one day, after hours of batting around names, the son of a close friend, who had been sitting in the corner of the room, quietly doing his homework, had a thought. He mustered the bravery and asked, why not call this new company Audi? Horch knew exactly why, and he loved the idea. Because you see, in German, Horch means listen. But as a student of Latin, the boy knew the Latin word for listen is Audi. And just like that, this company, this magical story we know, kicked off and began. Now, let's fast forward 20 years, 1932. By this point, Audi was clearly established and clearly known for exceptional craftsmanship and a very high standard of quality. Now, obviously, in order to compete on a global playing field, the decision was made to merge the original Horch automobile company with Audi and two other brands, DKW Motorcycles and Wanderer Automobiles. These four companies were joined as the Auto Union, literally and then symbolically by the four rings we all know today. So that's how we got our name, and that's how we got this powerful, powerful logo. Now, 1934, just 2 years after the Auto Union was established, they immediately got into racing. In fact, an entire division was dedicated to motorsport. Hans Stuck shattered the world record and went on to win German, Swiss, and Czech Grand Prix behind the wheel of the mythical and legendary Silver Arrows, literally almost melting the soles of his shoes in the process. Proving, however, one thing, as Aristotle once said, bravery is the greatest of all virtues, because bravery makes anything possible. What we like to say is bravery wins. Now, let's keep going. 1968. By then, Volkswagen had acquired Auto Union and simplified things to one word, Audi, because they were listening. Succumbing to the pressures of a global energy crisis that shifted priorities in the automotive business, Volkswagen downsized and issued a very clear edict to the engineers at Audi. All research and development on any new vehicles was forbidden. But with the same courage that little boy had, let alone the bravery August Horch showed when he listened to his heart, an engineer named Ludwig Krauss disobeyed that edict and secretly led a team of visionaries to develop what would become the Audi 100. When Krauss finally revealed his little secret to the top executives at Volkswagen, the response was simple: pure delight. This would be the car that saved the Audi brand. Originally estimated to sell 300,000 units, the 100 sold 800,000 cars before that first generation model was discontinued in 1976. Ultimately, over 3 million of Ludwig Krauss's forbidden car were sold before the 100 became the A6 or the 100 Coupe, which clearly greatly influenced the stunning A7 we have on the road today. Clearly, bravery wins. Now, 1980. Audi again changed everything with a new standard, the four-wheel drive system known as Quattro. Tried and tested in the world of rallying car racing, no less by legendary driver Michel Mouton. Quattro instantly became the envy of the industry. Competitors worldwide are still scrambling to catch up today. Now, around the same time Quattro was born, in a lesser-known story, this gentleman, Heinrich Timm, began experimenting with aluminum. His nickname, or his actual title, and this is classic Audi, Director of Things That Cannot Be Done. The engineering world said, true. Engineering world said he was crazy. Aluminum's too difficult, too complex. Just use steel like every other automotive company. Tim disagreed and he pushed the limits because he knew aluminum was lighter yet stronger than steel and believed it would ultimately save consumers money because of increased fuel efficiency and, of course, driving dynamics. And the Audi space frame continues to give us a massive competitive advantage today. Now, also in the late 80s, Audi was brought to its knees. Japanese brands entered the market, exchange rate challenges, unintended acceleration. A whole host of European brands packed up their bags and went home. Our sales plummeted, and the next 10 years became known as the lost decade. For Audi of America, the brand was absolutely against the ropes. People said clearly, pull the plug. But bravery wins. Over those 20 years, we fought back to reinvent this brand. And many of you in this room know how tough a fight that was. For those of you that do, let me stop and say thank you. Thank you for fighting that fight with us. Thank you for standing next to us for every trial and every triumph, helping us change the luxury conversation in America. Because by the time I joined Audi in 2006, America was big time ready for that change. Germany was developing vehicles that the American market wanted. A4, A5, Q5, and of course, the R8 supercar. We also invested in technology across the board. More aluminum, LEDs, clean diesel, TFSI, MMI. The design details on our exteriors, coupled with the technologies inside our vehicles, were absolutely, absolutely stunning. And the message people sent from behind the wheels of these great cars is, I am smart. They were ignoring the rule of three. We were the unquestionable alternative to the status quo that had been established. And very much like Apple, very much like Nike, we were now a brand that stood for something. We stood for truth, and we stood for progress. And even as the economy started to go off the rails, Americans continued to look to the four rings, waiting to see what we would do next. And obviously it wasn't just the car, it was how we brought them to the market. We took them to the biggest stage in America, the Super Bowl, to give a supercar the introduction it deserved, and in that moment with the R8 roaring into living rooms across America, we affirmed the truth that remains very, very true today. Audi is one extremely, extremely hot brand.